Hey everyone, D-Dub Squizzy here, and welcome to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. So, this is easily my favorite FromSoft game that I've played, and I've played almost all the FromSoft games that people really know about. Haven't played Demon Souls, although I want to. But while I enjoy pretty much all of their games, something about Sekiro and its polish, even though it has fewer options than the others, just sets it above, to me at least, the others, and I greatly enjoy it. Now I want to just do a walkthrough. I've played through the game many times. I'm not the best, but I think I'm pretty good at it. And I just kind of want to run through the game with you guys. Now, I'm going to be trying to show the easiest way to do things. Like, I'll explain it or show it if I can. But I won't always actually do that to get through, because sometimes making things a little more difficult is part of the fun. But yeah, that's about it. I will be going for the return ending, but I'll be showing how to get all the endings. I'm not going to run through and grab them all, and I'm not going to get every single skill point upgrade and prosthetic upgrade, because that takes multiple runs and lots of commitment, and I don't feel like doing it. But anyway, yeah, let's just get into it. I don't play it on the PC all that often, although I have played through it once on this PC. I played it on the PlayStation mostly. I also play it in English, not Japanese. That's mainly because I like the English voice actors a lot, and because I can understand it.
Some 20 years after.
Okay. So. Obviously, early game is extremely simple. It's walk in a straight line, hug wall, hide from samurai, kill samurai, get arm chopped off. Tutorial section is nothing fancy, and I really don't think I'll have to explain much of what I'm doing.
That Shinobi at the bottom of the well.
You can eavesdrop on a couple people to get some basic information and a little bit of lore. If you don't walk through this grass all the way here, you'll probably be noticed by that guy. Sometimes you get away from him, no problem. Sometimes you don't.
Unworthy of our concern.
And then right through the tall grass, and then shimmy. At this point, you're safe. There's no one close enough to notice, basically. So you don't actually have to hide at all while going down here. Another thing about my playstyle, I rarely use the prosthetic for anything but essentials, and I don't really use items very often if I can avoid it. It's just sort of how I play almost every game. But I've learned how to do most everything in Sekiro without the use of like the sugars and the balloons and basically everything else, even though they'd probably make my life much easier.
Loyal, it is you. Not worried, do you? No, right? There's Lord. I want you.
The lore on this game, while it fascinates me, and I have tried to look into it, it's so confusing. I have no idea what sense of timing this world has. Like, what happens, when. It's very weird to me. One of the most fun things about Sekiro, though, is that it starts you with one healing item usage and, like, no upgrades. You have to start pretty much from the ground up, which is really tough early on. But, to me, is a major part of the fun. I do my best not to spam deflect, because I think that kind of takes away from the fun and spirit of the game. And because it's sort of unnecessary. One of the things I love about Sekiro is just how refined of an experience it is. There isn't a lot of paths you can go down. You're a ninja, and that's it. And that kind of bores some people, because they like the variety, which I get. But on the same kind of method of thinking, I guess. Hold on just a second. Not really method of thinking, I don't know what I'm saying there. on the same page, when you allow for lots of variations, you vastly increase the chances of things going wrong. When you have one very polished experience, things can go much smoother, and so there are advantages to both. I like having smoothness. Now the first mini-boss of the game, he just takes your basic samurai general moveset. He has very little health, just 2 health bars, and as you noticed, relentless attacks with 1 or 2 deflects is enough to put down a whole health bar. It's very easy to take a hit from him, mostly just because of how samurai generals swing. They have very delayed attacks. It's like very slow, very fast, and then sometimes you get in a good rhythm and you can counter them, and sometimes you don't. There's a rat here, but he's not a defensible rat. He's not a parrier. He's not a shield hat. He will, however, throw knives at you if you give him a chance. But overall, he's a low posture one. And then, if for whatever reason you feel necessary, there are 3 geckos you can kill down here. You don't get any XP or loot from anything. That's really just there as a trap in case you fail up there and fall down, because fall damage is way less vital in this game. Normally I kill them just for fun, but I don't feel like it. Alright, and we're approaching tutorial boss, which I always try to beat, but which I rarely do. If you feel like talking to people and taking things slower, by all means do. This is a walkthrough, though. That's the reason I'm doing it, so I'm not going to waste time as much as I can avoid it. Alright.
You face.
Now, the difficult part about this early fight is that I don't have any health or anything, but I also don't have Makiri counter. That's the biggest thing here. That's the biggest limiting factor. Meaning that I can only parry, which really kind of hurts me more than it hurts him. Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah. That was his grab attack. It's actually not a bad strategy to let yourself be killed. Oh, yeah, I mistimed it. To let yourself be killed right out the gate by one of the lesser guys if you feel like trying to really beat him, because you'll regain all your health and have a healing gourd usage. Then you can kill everyone with that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Pellets are vital for people that just start the game because they're your only source of healing other than the 1 drink of that doesn't even heal you all the way.
You see, it will come back.
There's some basic conversation I want to get out of the way here.
You, my God, you it helps in if you that. Oh no. Why am okay? Cool. However, your man, he they look.
What did you mean?
That's Mike. You're out there too.
Okay. So, obviously you can't really do much but go in one direction at this point in the game. Definitely grab all of those coin purses because they are essential. Can't use the shortcut down there. Right, remnants are in the game now. I will never be used to those. I played through the game like 7 times before those were ever in it. And so I'm absolutely not used to those, or recollections of strength. Although I like the recollections of strength, those are fun.
But sleeping.
Of course, Hand-By won't stay dead. You can use him for training if you feel so inclined. He helped me a lot my first game, because he taught me a lot of the basics. Deflection, specifically, was something that I just did not understand.
That's what it was. A few other.
Very well.
Right.
I won't need to train with him, but I'll kill him once I get the Mortal Blade. And then, of course, you have the offering box. In case you kill someone, they drop some loot, and they fall off of a cliff. It should reappear there. It's very rarely needed, but it's a nice little thing they put in. Okay. My goal is to reach the Chained Ogre this episode. I don't plan to fight the Chained Ogre because I like going through the Harada Estate before I take it down, which sounds, I think, insane to some people, because the Harada Estate, a lot of people do alongside the main quest until they get to Ashina Castle, I think, and bring down Genichiro. I'm gonna go ahead and, I always just do it beforehand. It's a little tougher, but there's a lot of rewards in it, and it lets you really just curb stomp your way to the castle. Alright, so as far as this initial outskirts area, I always follow a set path. I clear my way to the first gatehouse, is the best way I can describe it. That right there. I kill everyone up top just to get over there. And then drop down and work my way back. You get some Akko sugar here, although I have never used that stuff once in the entire time I've played this game. I always like the look of the trees down there. I don't know why. It just seems so, atmospheric is the best way I can put it. Oh, someone wasn't supposed to see me. Okay. Always go for the guns first. If you can take them out before anything else, do it. They will just make your life a nightmare. Guys without hats? Absolutely don't. What was that? That was weird. That was an experience. Okay, guys with hats, don't be afraid of. They'll hit you if you give them a chance, but they have, like, no defenses, so you just swing, 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 and they're dead. Guys with hats generally only take a single deflect. Or, some pretty basic wearing down of their guard, which takes a little longer. Overall, though, they're usually not a major threat. If they won't swing at you, which sometimes they don't, usually it's only the caped hats ones, which we'll come across later, the ones with capes and hats on. They're the ones that generally start playing very defensively, because they know what'll happen if they swing. If those guys give you trouble, like if someone just will not swing at you and you can't seem to get through their guard, generally that means that's going to work. Sometimes it doesn't, but usually they're prompting you to stab, which is something the game really, I think, does not mention to you as a character enough. It doesn't really tell you about your thrust attack very often, and it's never really brought up in any sort of significant way. Alright, dogs. Dogs are usually a dangerous enemy in FromSoft games. One of the reasons I love Sekiro is that it lets you take all of the threat out of them. Do not be afraid of the dogs. Face them down, counter, kill them. And it's the easiest thing in the world to do. Now, we're going to come across one of the most hot and cold enemies that I have sometimes trouble with in this game, which is the rooster. Roosters, like most animals in the game, have very little health and no defensive capabilities. But those things have given me just nightmares in the past when I try to fight them, because I couldn't even tell you why. I just screw up while fighting them, something goes terribly wrong, and they shred me. They can do a lot of damage very fast. Alright, so there's some basic loot here. That shuriken wheel is essential. I'm just going to say it. You don't need every prosthetic tool to beat the game well, although I recommend you get all of them. But that thing's essential. And there's some loot down there we'll grab later. It sort of fast travels you a little later in the game. I don't really feel like doing that. This is the first real mini-boss of the game, if I'm being honest. And you can bypass him, but you don't want to. He has some very valuable stuff here. Free health bar if you can get behind him. If not, no big deal. He's just a tougher version of Leader Shigenori Yamauchi, I believe his name was. So, the way that I play this game, it's a simple principle. If you are not swinging, then you should be deflecting. If the enemy's not swinging, so you can't deflect, you should be swinging. Never give them space to breathe unless you have to take it so that you yourself can recover. Alright, so we're going to kill Sword Boy. They have some guns out here, so this is a tricky spot. Those guys sometimes give me pause because of how erratic they are in their attacks. Alright, the gun has to go first, because he's just going to keep screwing with me if I don't kill him. That kind of alerts most of the bad guys. They have another gun right around this corner. Definitely kill him. And now, I'm going to want to go stealth mode so that I can kill the Taro. Or has he not come out yet? Doesn't look like he's come out yet. So let's kill him before he gets annoying. I can take one of them on in single combat, no problem, but they are annoying. It's easiest to just catch him from above and put him down before he comes out. You can kill them alone. If they have some support with them, they become one of the biggest problems. Alright, Coat Boy. The ones with the capes are slightly more annoying than the ones with the hats, because they are more defensive. They will deflect you, but they rarely counterattack, and they're not very aggressive. See? They back up. That, they usually don't guard against, and it messes with them enough that you can kill them. Because if you can't break an enemy's poise easily, then you should be focused on damaging his health. Once their health is low, it doesn't matter how defensively they play, they're just not going to recover health fast enough to make a difference. This house has some decent stuff in it, primarily that coin purse on top. That's the big deal. The rest of this isn't huge. And then we have our first Memorial Mob Merchant, who you just have to jump off the house to get to. I jumped a little prematurely. And you have to be running, or sprinting in this game is weird at times. It like sometimes catches you on a ledge, sometimes doesn't.
Character an indie from God.
Alright. So Robert's Firecrackers, I want them. 409.
Where you find just like where it.
There's some more coin purses nearby, so I'll grab them. I think we've killed, no, I think we did kill everyone, actually. Except for the roosters down here. Yeah, see, they're really not dangerous. Unless they catch you at just the wrong angle, and then they'll just shred all of your health immediately. Alright, so we got money there. And you'll want to talk to the old woman. It doesn't matter what you tell her, she'll give you the bell. She's sort of an annoying character, because more often than not, like in my playthroughs, I usually don't die all that often. When I do, and Dragon Rot occurs for the first time, like at least 70-80% of the time, it's her. And she dies the moment you complete the Harada estate. So, at least that's something to keep in mind.
Yes.
He just wants you to take the bell, and if you already took the bell, he doesn't have much else to say. You've met them at the Harada estate in the past. It's a whole... I don't even understand what the deal is with all that. It's so confusing. Alright, so I'll just buy that.
Don't use that.
Firecrackers are one of the most useful tools because of how varied its use is, but I really don't use it all that often. Okay, so before heading further, we're going to go grab that loot, because now it's going to drop us off at the point of progress. It's a Jinzo statue, I believe. I didn't know it was there for the first, like, 4 playthroughs of the game that I did. But it's used in Resurrections, which I can't even do yet, because I haven't died yet, so... I'm not going to see an immediate use. This is one of the items I do make use of. Very rarely, but I do. Godkin's Sugar there. 3 is about all I need for a whole game. Because there are only a couple places where it's needed. But it is needed sometimes. And now, this area is tricky because the enemies can really mess you up. Particularly this one. You'll be fighting below. Her cannon shots are unbelievably accurate. And she can be a handful up close, too. So put her down from stealth. 2 Hatmen. 2 not Hatmen. But by this point, you should be good enough at killing them that as long as you're not fighting all of them at once, they're no problem. And of course, if you sneak around them, you don't have to kill them at all. But the skill points I'm getting up there. Easiest way to get enough to spend them is you get one, you get the... I think it's just the Shinobi esoteric texts. Maybe it's the Ashina. No, you get the Ashina from Ishin. So it's just the Shinobi esoteric texts, which are valuable. The first thing that you want to do with those is get Mikiri counter, which takes 2 skill points. Once I get 2, I go back for them. Alright, so there should be a little loot back here, and then some scrap iron further along this back path, and then that's about it. And we're just about reaching a point. I said I was going to stop once I reached the Chained Ogre Sculptor's Idol. I think I've made enough progress. I wasn't sure how fast I was going to move, but it's been pretty fast, so I'll keep going. At least for a bit. Alright. So, of course, at this point, if you eavesdrop on these guys, they let you know fire's what tears that dude up there up. Which is important information. There's a rooster up top. And I think once you die, you can see a reflection here once you get the resurrection power. It's not essential, but it gives you a little bit more information. Now, I don't think it's necessary, but I always give this guy all the money that he wants to give me information.
If you could.
It's just 10 and then 20. He tells you about the flame barrel. If you already have it, he gives you some oil. And then he says he's going to procure some goods. Procuring goods is the important part, because he's an essential character in that regard. Mostly for successive playthroughs, but he has some nice stuff. Alright, so we got the Sculptor's Idol. I don't have 2 points yet, but I'm going to have to travel back anyway, because before I can complete the Harada Estate, or really get that far in it, I have to get the axe, which you get in there. I'll probably have 2 points by then. I try to minimize my travels back. Once you get your first gourd seed, Emma should show up, and then you can upgrade it. Although I think she might show up before that. I'm not certain.
Is this?
Now the
Such
is if it that please. Oh,
I was.
does if he
Alright.
What is it going to take? What should we? Well, then should.
I found. Yeah.
What it that's. Don't give it.
Alright, so let's just get these 2. We'll get a lot more, a lot faster. I do use the shuriken pretty routinely. Firecrackers are a use that I don't have very often. Just get some initial emblems. Firecrackers are ridiculously useful. I just got used to playing without them, and so I don't use them pretty much ever. And at this point, I just focus on the Harada Estate till it's done. I go far enough to get the firecrackers and the throwing stars. But honestly, I do use the flame vent against chained ogres. And I use it consistently against them. So we've got 2 gourd uses, which is a big deal. If you're a new player to the game. Or if you remember when you started playing the game, then you know how big a deal getting just 1 or 2 more gourd uses is. Because you'll be stuck with them for a while. That guy gives you some basic information. You're at the Harada Estate 3 years ago, which the game actually already tells you, so you don't really need to talk to him about it. And your main enemies out here are bandits. Bandits are worse than samurai because they're a little trickier, I think slightly stronger, and they use fire. Fire's the big one. Yeah, see? I have a lot more trouble playing perfectly against them. So there's a treasure carp scale out here, and then I think there's just 1 more treasure carp in these waters. But you can meet one of the pot nobles. Yeah, there's the treasure carp. There might be 2, actually. 2 that you can reach without having to dive. I think there's 1 more. Yeah, there he is. I see him. Yeah, that's a treasure carp. But that one was, it was just stupid and swam too high in the water. Gotcha. They're very weird to hunt. I still don't have a perfect method for doing it. Sometimes I get them really well. Sometimes they swim away and I can't catch them and they vanish. But the game didn't make it too inconvenient to hunt them down. Floating passage. It's okay. That's important for way later. I like getting all of the gourds, so I take it. The scales aren't as important as a lot of other things, although they have grave importance late in the game. Alright, so we got a dog and a bandit. The bandits cannot deflect. Like, none of them can deflect you unless you stab at them. They can deflect stabbing. This guy should send his dogs out once you get close enough. Oh, I guess that's probably only if you get noticed, actually. Yeah, the ones without torches, of course, can't hit you with the torches, which makes them significantly less annoying. So outside area is clear. There's a sculptor's idol right inside, so if you need to rest once you get here, go right for it. See, I kind of royally sucked at the game when I first played it, for a while. Like, I was really bad for a while. I could barely fight anything without dying immediately. What little I could fight, I didn't do very well. I remember the first time when I was pinned between, like, my sources of progress. It was either the General in Ashina Castle, Lone Shadow Longswordsman, the first 7 spears that you come across, and Jizao the Drunkard. And I couldn't get past any of them. It took me so long before I could do anything at all, but eventually I did. One of the keys to FromSoft's game is keep trying. Eventually you'll figure something out. Alright, so this guy's an archer. He'll shoot flaming arrows at you, but he has just no defensive capability. So you put him down, makes it much easier on you. Usually no one notices, but occasionally they do. They have another archer out there, so I'm not keen on charging. I'll let him come to me. Another thing that makes these guys a little dangerous is they have capability to stab. Ow, and I don't have any Makiri counter right now. Yeah, see, range support is a big deal. As far as dealing with it, there is no 100% certain way to always get around it, unless you just want to pump them full of shuriken, which will work. 1 or 2 shuriken usually kills an archer. Alright, so now we have the axe boys, like this glitched one is showing. The axes are tougher than others, much more difficult to turn their weapons aside, they're much heavier. But if you can catch them before they can actually get ready, they won't be able to actually turn your weapon aside. They'll just keep on blocking it and backing up until you can kill them. So either you'll get a good chance when you start fighting them of just taking them out fast, or it's going to take you a while. Just needed to get the archer. Alright, that was careless of me. The axe guy should have taken me out, but my backswing got him. Okay, that went pretty well. The bandits are always sketchy to fight. Like I said, they're trickier than samurai. And there's a bunch of guys out here. Kill the dogs and the drunks before they have a chance to do anything. Drunks usually won't do anything. They'll just wander around until you attack them. They have an archer up top who can be sort of a handful if you don't take him out. He's hard to get with a shuriken because of his angle, and because he'll shoot you the moment you're in range. Alright. kill him, and then you fall back. One or two of them usually see me, they'll follow me. Sometimes with their dogs. Alright, there we have an axe man. Axe guy's a handful. Just get him. Ah. There we go. Alright, and the drunks have no idea what happened. There's sometimes one drunk wandering around back here, I think. There's one or two here. And then a guy and his dogs come down the path. Let the dogs come get you. They're always more aggressive than they should be. And there's the flame barrel. That's what we're here to get before we can progress in the main story. We need the axe, though, before I can progress down here. Because there are some shield bros who I'd really rather not fight without it. Okay, bandit dead. That should be all of them. And now you're free to loot the place in peace. Although I think I've already gotten most of it. I think one of these houses has something. Now they're empty. Well, now you can open up a little shortcut to the sculptor's idol. You have 3 little side things, right? Just a samurai. He tells you about the axe. This is a shortcut that you'll probably end up making a lot of use of. I certainly did when I first played, because the Shinobi Hunter took me out a lot of times before I learned how to Makiri counter him. Always target the axe. That one's the one with the axe. The sword guy, you can just relentless assault and he dies. Last guy over there is just a sword guy too. Yeah, I hate that move. They don't use it all the time, but they're really, really good at timing it. And they'll catch you right in the face. If you can Makiri counter, it's more of a curse than a blessing, because you'll just, instead of dodging away, dodge forward and take him out. And I will be getting a Makiri counter the moment that I head back to the idol. But first I want to get the axe and finish clearing out the rest of this minor stuff. Whoa! That was weird. My target lock broke. Alright. Always feel so uncomfortable fighting them. I want to go up here first. There's just a little loot out here. Another Jinzo statue. You can meet Anamaya there. Or Amanai, or however you say his name. The peddler guy. And he'll tell you about a 3-story pagoda that you should search. But it's really confusing because it doesn't come into play till way later. And you have to go really out of your way to even notice it. Axe guy first, just like the other stealth kill. And then sword guy. There's no enemies in here. You can eavesdrop on a couple people. I think it's this woman that you want to talk to.
Yeah.
No, that's the one that insults you. There's a woman that helps you. This one.
I'm not.
I pray.
Thank.
And that's really for use against Jinzo, because he... Juzao, sorry. Because he poisons you. Or can poison you. It's pretty easy to avoid. I don't think when I first fought him, he poisoned me more than once or twice. And I fought him a bunch of times. But that was mostly because he killed me before he could poison me. Because that dude is a handful. Alright, so back to the temple. Get the axe, get the flame barrel, and then pick up Makiri counter, and we're set to deal with basically every threat in the game. There's still the loaded spear to deal with the armored Taro men,
they're the great
but
one that
that's
we
about it.
have. The Shinobi.
The axe and the shuriken I'll use more than anything else. Kiri first, and this one's nice. Just gives me a slightly heavier attack, which I don't have any specific use for, but occasionally it comes in handy. And if you need practice with that thing, definitely, with Makiri counter, definitely take advantage of Hanbai, because it's a skill worth learning. It changes the entire paradigm of the game. Makiri counter is as important to learning how to do, like, understanding how to jump over and kick someone in the face when they swipe is important. But it's really... it doesn't come into play all the time. That was weird. Makiri counter, like, at least half the enemies in the game have a form of thrust attack. Every single boss that I'm... like, almost every... I think every single boss, actually. I'd have to think through the list. But just about every boss has a form of thrust attack that Makiri counter dramatically changes. Alright, I do make use of my tools in preparation for the fight with the Shinobi Hunter. First, of course, if you don't use an axe, these guys are a nightmare to take out. An axe makes them not only easier, it makes them comical. So, to deal with this guy, I always dash forward, stealth kill him, shuriken him, then disappear. Now, you could stealth attack him right off the bat. One of those guys up there I think is just a bowyer. No, he's got a sword. But the sword guy's not the issue. The issue is the axe guy that's standing right behind him. So you want to wait for the hunter to turn his back, which he should do before long, and then dash up into that tree. Then into the flowers, and the flowers will take you right up behind the axe guy. And the moment the axe guy's dead, you can press the assault and kill the sword guy, who raises an alarm before he tries to kill you. Be careful of being up here. The Shinobi Hunter really takes advantage of the height difference. Sometimes it can screw with you. Alright, so let's fight. Shinobi Hunter is just a tutorial for Makiri counters. But some of his attacks are weirdly timed. Some of them you have to wait until he starts charging. Some of them he doesn't charge, he just stabs. And just like that, he's dead. Okay. I don't believe there's a treasure carp in here, but I don't have all the treasure carp locations memorized. There's only so many places they can be, so I just always search them all. Yeah, there's none. I think there might be one underwater, but I'm fairly certain this stream right here is empty. Right, getting out of here is sort of annoying. There we go. Now, you can proceed if you climb on top of this building and then leap over to the ledge there. But I'm not going to do that. We're going to pick up our loot. We don't have... we only have 2 of those. Yeah, and we don't have another bell. So we can't... bell. We don't have another gourd seed. So I can't upgrade either of those further. How long have I even been recording for? I really don't feel like it's been that long. It's probably been longer than I think. I should probably stop here. I get caught up in this game, it's hard to tell. Mid-air deflection, I like. I also like run and slide, but I always end up getting more important things. But that makes it worth getting, because that's a huge deal. So is this one, because that gives you health for a death blow. It costs 5. Very valuable, though. These 2 are stealth. Stealth is okay. Vault over is very helpful if you're a ninjutsu player. I only use ninjutsu a couple times, and I rarely use mid-air combat arts, although it can make for some pretty cool stuff. That's important. That's important. Those are what you really want to go for in this skill tree once you get it, as far as I'm concerned. And the big boy combat arts take up so many spirit emblems and just don't deal enough damage, really, in my opinion, to really be worth the time and effort. But yeah, I think I'm going to stop this one here. So, too many bosses dead. I'm going to press forward in the next one. Well, it's a walkthrough, so I'll just continue walking through it. I think I should finish the Harada estate in the next one, and then I might kill the Chained Ogre, which if I do, the episode after that would probably take me all the way up to Gyobu and putting him down. So, yeah, I think I'm going to end this one here. I'm kind of excited for this. I've played this game through so many times, but I always get hyped playing it again. It's just so much fun. I feel like when I play Dark Souls or Bloodborne, and I go up against Dark Beast Parl or, like, I don't know, Pontiff Sullivan, I get the feeling that I'm really not supposed to be there. That I'm an intruder who will die unless some sort of luck swoops in and saves me, or unless I have some help. But in Sekiro, it taught me how to play alone. Like, you're just one guy, you only get help once in the entire game for one fight. And the dude, he's helpful, but he's not everything. He's just a regular guy who moves in to help you. Other than that, you can go toe-to-toe with everything. There's nothing in this game that you can't fight. And that's the big deal. Everything can be deflected, everything can be countered, everything can be whittled down and danced around, which is kind of true for the other ones too, but I don't know, it just seems much more real and alive in Sekiro. And part of that is because of the polish. But yeah, I'm happy to be doing this. So yeah, I think I'm going to end this one here. So thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next one.